Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're checking out Alan Wake 2 on the 4070. So if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And right now we are at 4K resolution. And you know what the funny thing is? Just before I started recording this, I was going to show you guys something that looked really weird. Like it was all over the place. Like it was just shuddering everywhere. Like it was crazy. Let's see graphics. So we're at 4K. DLSS is on, frame generation on, and I don't have the I don't have any of the ray tracing on right now. But the whole reason I started this video up, there we go. See. Yes. It was doing this, and then I started the recording, and then it went away. But I wanted to show you guys that, like, that right there, the the reflections without using the ray tracing. Look how broken up that is. That was what I was going to show you. I was going to show you. I was like, oh man, like look at that. It looks worse than what you get on the AMD cards. Like the AMD cards look better without the ray tracing, and this looks better with the ray tracing on, but it looks worse without the ray tracing. It looks like this looks like the ray tracing quality I was getting from the AMD cards, with there being like a fizz, like it looking all fizzy or whatever. This looks a little bit better. This looks closer to what the other one looks like. But as you can see, like back over there by the car and stuff, it looked really grainy. But then you get this screen judder, like so bad with it at 4K. And I can't do any higher than 4K on this. 4K is where it tops out, where I can go all the way up to 8K on the AMD cards, and then check those out.
Where will they go? Who will feed them? Fly away. Find a happy place. Go while you're still can.
Huh. So if we come back over here or whatever, we're not gonna punish you guys too much with that, but we're gonna come over here to ultra performance, because this is something else that I wanted to show you guys. So now we're on ultra performance, and this looks even more 1080p than it is, you know, if I'm using, because obviously I'm using the DLSR or whatever, or DSR, upscaling to 4K and then downsampling to the 1440p. But you just see how grainy that looks without the ray tracing on. That there looks just as bad as, I mean, like the frame gen being on, that's why we're getting such a low frame rate at 4K. I mean, and that's why we're getting like the screen like juddering or whatever. But you see, like this just looks a lot more grainy like this. But if we turn back on our ray tracing at this level, turn all that back on, like we still get, you know, up to, you know, like a 60-ish FPS experience, and then that will straighten all of this out over here. See, now that there looks a lot cleaner. So I mean, you can easily play this like this. But yeah, I'm not getting that dense look that I was getting from the AMD cards. Like these textures and stuff, they don't look anywhere as dense as they do on that. And what really gave it away for me is looking at like the edge of this building right here on the AMD software. Like that there looks super dense. Like it just beams with like a denseness that fills the 3D space a lot better, in my opinion. Because this is a beautiful game, and when I'm looking at it on this NVIDIA card, oh, look, we're starting to get a little bit more jitter in there. Frame gen. That frame gen, man. Yeah, like what the heck is wrong? Let's turn off frame generation. Oh, look at that. Turning off frame generation made the image quality look better. There we go. That looks a lot better. Interesting. This looks like it has more of that denseness that I was talking about. There we go. That's how you do it. You turn off frame generator. Yeah, now it looks a little better. Huh. I don't know what you would use frame generation for on this game then. I mean, we're still, you know, 4K with down sound or ultra performance. I mean, you do get more stability in like straight lines, like the lines up there, over here on this bike rack or whatever. It doesn't flicker or anything. So I mean, that is pretty good. I mean, it's not necessary. That kind of stuff doesn't really bug me that much, but to some of you graphics purist guys, that there's a make it or break it for you for some reason. I just personally, yeah, this does have a little bit more denseness to it now, but still not on the level that I perceive from the AMD platform. I just feel like the overall visual quality looks higher on that, like back there in the distance. Still got kind of like a sharpness look to it. But if we go to options and we crank this up to quality, I just want to see what quality looks like. I mean, definitely we're in the 20s now, but this is just for image quality. See, that looks better. That looks closer to what I get with the AMD cards. But now this is essentially unplayable. Let's see how the forest area goes. Yeah, dude, we're at like 17 frames a second.
Now, why'd you
So I mean, with the AMD card with all the ray tracing on, you'd be like 8 frames a second, 15 frames a second. So I guess it doesn't really matter. You're definitely getting an unplayable experience on either one of these, the 7800 XT or this card. You know, using quality ray tracing. Can almost get it to 30 frames, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But if we go down to options and we go over to graphics and we hit this at, let's see, 1440p, because I've got limited options. And if we go to just regular, just native 1440p with the ray tracing on, you're still at an unplayable frame rate. Even at 1440p with all your ray tracing on, you're still, I mean, you get what, 10 frames on AMD, you get 20 here in the wooded areas. Out here you're getting closer to 30 frames, up to 30 frames. So I mean, you could play this at 30 frames at 1440p, but when you get into those the forested areas, you're gonna struggle hardcore with that. So you are gonna need a frame, some sort of upscaling. So you're gonna go back over here. You're gonna turn back on the quality mode, and that should get you above 30. So this would technically be a playable experience. See what we'd be at in the forest. If we could stay in the 30s in the forested areas, this would be playable. Ideal, probably not, but playable.
And what about old?
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like you're taking a hit either way. So we're not at 60 yet. Options, graphics, balanced. Closer to
I can't
60.
leave here yet.
And balanced.
Lots of work left to do.
Still preserving a pretty decent amount of image quality. About 40 in that area. So let's see what we got to do at native 1440p to get a 60 FPS, a stable 60. So let's see. We'll go back in here. Graphics. We're at performance mode now. We go over in here. Check out this area. We're at the upper 40s now. See, this is like a great place to like benchmark this and test your settings. Because if you can get it to stay above 60 over there, so we can be above 60 right here, but we get into wooded areas, we're gonna start dropping into the 50s, but we're gonna be pretty close to 60 FPS in this area. So let's go. Almost got it with that. Looks like we're at ultra performance now. And ultra performance is going to give us our 60 FPS. A little bit above and give us pretty much a 60 FPS. Even in the wooded areas, I think we would probably be okay with that. But yeah, now you are, as the NVIDIA bros would tell me, now we are at 480p. 480p to get above 60 frames a second with all that ray tracing on. So with a 4070, you tell me, is that really worth the extra $100 that you're paying over that? Whereas your max limit now is 4K, where I could get all the way up to 8K, I think it was 6K with this game at ultra performance and be at 1080p resolution, have better image quality than what I'm seeing right now at for $100 cheaper on that 7800 XT. That's where I'm at with this. Yes, this is playable now. This is fine, and yeah, you could probably do pretty well and be like, oh gosh, I get my ray tracing, but you're not getting a significantly higher ray tracing. I mean, like, the ray tracing does look good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna throw shade at the ray tracing. It does look good. It's not fizzly. It's not popping. None of that stuff. It does look good. You get overall more image stability. I mean, you do get those lines right there that are kind of blinking now, but you get image stability right there. You get image stability along the back fence. I mean, when you turn the camera a little bit, you'll be able to see that go like that. At 70 frames, though, if we go over here and we go to graphics and we re-enable our frame generation, now we get worse image quality because of that. You can instantly see the image quality drop, but you do get higher frame rate. This is probably like the best feel you're going to get for this game using
This is not the right
the
way.
the DL or the frame generation. But now because now you're in a much better playable experience, but you are definitely taking a smaller hit. Like, it's not even that big, but it is noticeable hit to the image quality overall. But if you try to crank this back up, like I was just showing you earlier, if you go back in here and you try to crank this back up to quality, you can run with that, but you're gonna get more. You're gonna have the potential of having that camera freak out on you with the ray tracing on and everything. Because that's what it was doing at the very beginning of this. So maybe you can do this with this and have a playable experience with the with frame generation on. So I mean, you can still do this and have a better image quality, but you're not getting that dense look of, I mean, you're getting basically what looks like toned down texture work or whatever. So just look right here. Go into options, graphics. Boom. Much better, much cleaner look right there. Much more denseness. Oh wait, no, we're still not. Are we on 4K? We're not on 4K. Yeah, we're not on 4K, but it does look a little bit sharp, or a little bit cleaner. Not as sharp. You're getting a little bit more fine texture work, I feel like, when you look at that, even at native 1440p. But you can't have that frame generation on there. You lose that. It's like it's not a lot of detail, but it is enough to notice that like that looks better than with frame generation on. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this in the video or not, but yeah, it's like it just drops like a shade of texture. Not a significant difference, but you can just tell that like the rounded part on the edge on the corner right there where it comes around, like you can see a distinct look between having that on and having, see, just watch right here. You can see it change. As you flip the button, you can see it change. Frame generation off, it looks more defined, it looks better, it looks a little bit thicker, like there's more depth to it. The other one looks more flat texture, where this here looks like it has some depth to it. Like you can see that, like when you're switching the freaking thing, that you can see like your texture go away and your texture come back. So yeah, overall this would be fine for this game. You'd be able to play this, you'd be able to get 60 frames, you'd be able to keep all of your ray tracing, all of that stuff, and you can have a decent experience playing wise. Visual wise, yeah, I don't know. That's up to you. That's up to you how you feel about that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you what you should feel like, but I do feel like, in my experience, I like the AMD experience for this game better. Like, the ray tracing looks nice. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The ray tracing, the lighting, all of that stuff looks fantastic. But ooh, look at that pop-in tree. Tree pop. Tree pop. Don't get me wrong, man. That does look good. That looks nice. That looks clean. It looks very, very, very good. But like I said, even on the AMD without ray tracing on, if you're standing here looking at it this way, it still looks pretty good. Like, it's still pretty convincing. I'm not seeing anything other on this game that's making me feel like I had an inferior experience running this on AMD platform. So, alright, my friends, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.